Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and today I'm going to give you guys my 4K Q&A, or at least part one of my 4K Q&A. I hit 4,000 subscribers the other day. I just want to thank all you guys out there for the love and support that you've shown me over the years. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thanks for all the awesome questions you guys left me on my Ask Me Anything video. I got over 50 questions on that video, as well as questions sent to me via Facebook and Twitter. So got a lot of great questions from you guys. Want to really thank you guys for all that. And like I said, there will be at least 2 parts to this Q&A, because you guys know I can be long-winded. I can rattle on and blather for quite some time, so I don't want you guys to have to sit through an hour-long Q&A video. So there will be at least 2 parts. And what I've done is I've kind of scanned over most of the questions. I've really given no forethought to my answers because I want them to be, you know, off the top of my head. I want them to have an immediacy. I want to keep it real for you guys, is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to keep it real. So, again, thanks for all the love and support. Thanks for 4,000 subscribers. Thanks for all the questions. You guys are great. Love you guys. So, I'll go right ahead and dive in with the very first question from my buddy Ev Leopard. He asks, Piz, I was wondering if you can name some actors and or actresses that you dislike so bad that it deters you from watching certain films. I try to keep an open mind generally about movies. I'll even throw, actually it was a filmmaker that jumped to mind more than an actor or actress when I read this question, and that filmmaker is Michael Bay, who just saying his name makes me squint because I'm just seeing lens flares. His name attached to a film, either as director or producer, definitely is a deterrent. But as far as actors or actresses are concerned, I mean, no actor or actress has just a spotless track record. There are some actors and actresses, I mean, I won't, you know, to be brutally honest, that, you know, if I see them in a movie, I kind of go, or if I see them in a trailer for a film, I kind of go, wait a minute. They want us to take this movie seriously, yet they've cast this person in it, or, you know, this actor or this actress. I'm not the world's biggest Will Smith fan, Mark Wahlberg fan, Megan Fox fan. So, I mean, generally, and not to say anything against them, you know, Mark Wahlberg, Will Smith, they've done great movies in the past. I'm just not the biggest fan of theirs. So what I'll typically do, say for instance, if there's a Will Smith movie that's coming out, that opening weekend, I'll skip it. Listen to what people are saying about it. If it's good, I may go check it out. If it's bad, I'll skip it. So on and so forth. And nothing against those actors personally. It just seems like when they do bad stuff, it's pretty bad. And I don't know, with Will Smith particularly, just something about him is very kind of jarring to me. It takes me kind of out of the movie. I don't see him as a character. I see him as kind of, I think Will Smith is kind of, I don't know. Not the world's biggest Will Smith fan. Just not. So, but it won't totally deter me from watching a movie. You know, I judge a movie if it's a good movie or a bad movie, not because of who's cast in it. Because even a bad actor can be in a good movie. Or a good actor can be in a bad movie. So, thanks for that question. I appreciate it. Next up, Clive Gaines 80s. He asks, how do you combine watching favorite flicks with all new movies? Good question. Excellent question. Combining the two, that's difficult. I definitely think the scales are tipped far more toward watching favorite flicks, movies that I know are good because I've seen them multiple times, as opposed to venturing out and trying something, you know, a new film. And not to say that all new movies are bad, even though seems like quite a few of them are. particularly horror movies. So yeah, I mean, I reach more for the favorite flicks because I know them, I'm comfortable with them, as opposed to trying something new because devoting your time, investing your time into a movie that's not good, isn't good. So combining the two, for me, like I said, it's that balancing act, and I gotta say, the scales are tipped far more toward my favorite flicks, movies that I know are good, movies that I have seen many times before, as opposed to checking out something new. But again, I don't want that to sound like, I'm saying everything that's new sucks. Just, it seems like a lot of new stuff sucks, but oh well. Next up, my buddy, the Kentucky Cuntator. He asks, please describe your best and worst celebrity experience at any horror con. Thanks in advance. Excellent question. Thanks a lot. I gotta say, I've mostly had positive experiences with celebrities at horror conventions. I think if you go into a convention in the right mindset as a professional fan, if you act professionally as a fan, you're not gonna go to a convention. I think a lot of people who've never been to conventions before, they go for the first time, they envision that they're gonna hang out with these celebrities and you're gonna develop these lifelong meaningful relationships with them, and that's just not gonna happen. So I mean, as long as they're professional in return, they don't have to be the most open, loving kind of fan or celebrity, the kind of celebrity who's like, give you a hug, ask you questions, just be really outgoing. If they want to be, a little more curt with you, if they kind of, I used to say back in the day when everything was $20, basically you're paying the celebrity like $1 a second to even acknowledge you. Now, there's a lot of celebrities that I've met that have gone above and beyond that, and they've been really cool, and they'll have a conversation with you, or they're just more open, they're just more friendly. But not all celebrities are like that, unfortunately. And that's fine as long as you're professional, as long as you're not a jerk. I'm all cool with that because that's just that's just the name of the game. I actually had a buddy of mine who went to a convention, his very first one, about a year ago, and I think he was anticipating, it's just hanging out and partying and having fun, and you're gonna meet a celebrity and that you're gonna exchange numbers or emails or something. You're just gonna become a friend of theirs forever, and I tried to temper his expectations without necessarily bursting his bubble, and I think his bubble got burst a little bit by the real thing. But I love horror conventions. I've been to many. I plan on going to many more. Worst experiences. I had a very awkward experience with Edward Furlong that could possibly be construed as sexual harassment. Me being the harassed, him being the harassee. I had a weird experience with Tom Savini, which I've talked about before, but I'll talk about it again. I'd pretty much only heard negative feedback from fans about Tom Savini at conventions, that he's very standoffish, very quiet, just very sort of, impersonal to the max. And he was pretty much that way when I met him. Not super friendly, but not really a jerk. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me. But anyway, his whoever was with him, his friend, his whoever, assistant, who was sitting at the table with him, asked me, "What's the Sausage Factory?" I had on a big Sausage Factory t-shirt. He goes, "What's the Sausage Factory?" So of course I break into explaining to him what the Sausage Factory is. I give him a Sausage Factory card, blah, blah, blah. I kind of glance back and forth at Tom Savini a couple times, and he's just staring up at me like, "Really? Please shut up and move on. You're really wasting my time talking about this." So I hand him the money. It was a $20 autograph and picture at his table. I handed him a $100 bill. He took the bill, threw the whole bill under the table into bag, pot, I mean, whatever he was throwing his money into. And so I finished up. I noticed this, and I played cool, and I finished up the conversation with his assistant, and I looked at Savini, and I started giving him the look that he was giving me. And he was like, what? And I said, my change. And he goes, what? And he reaches under the table and pulls out the $100 bill, and he goes, oh, I thought this was a 20. I'm just so used to taking 20s. Everybody giving me 20s. I didn't even pay attention. And I'm like, yeah. Now I'm giving him the sort of wrap it up and, you know what I mean? I don't care kind of face. And so he gives me my change, and I walk away. And as I'm walking away, I'm thinking, Tom Savini just tried to steal $80 from me. Interesting experiences. I've had really bad experiences with, not with celebrities, but just with shows and how the shows are organized, and, you know, the staff at the shows just not knowing what is going on, and it just being a complete and utter catastrophe. More so than bad experiences with the celebrities themselves. Most of the celebrity experiences I've had have been really positive. So, but thanks for that question. Next up, Pistol 21321 third. I'm gonna guess that's how you say that. Sorry if I butchered that, buddy. He says, how did you come up with the name Pizzal, and congrats on your channel, man. It's the best. Also, do you plan on making any more action figure reviews in the near future? Yes, I plan on doing more action figure reviews in the future. I see an action figure or a horror figure or a collectible figure that I want, and I buy it. I'm helpless against it. I'm building, as you can see, a very large collection of figures. And they're just growing and growing and growing. So there will be many more figure reviews and unboxings and up close and personal looks at in the future. So don't worry about that. And thanks for saying my channel is the best. I appreciate the kind words. How did I come up with the name Pizzal? It's a variation on my last name. Got it in high school. Back when everybody was throwing is in the middle of things, like Dizam, or that's the shiznit. So happened in high school, just kind of carried. It's just kind of stuck ever since. So yeah. Next up, my buddy Barry from Endurance Productions. He asks, when you wipe, do you wipe from the front to the back, or the back to the front? Well, no, he says, just kidding. I have an honest-to-goodness, well-thought question to ask, sir. If you were trapped in a world where horror movie characters were the only people that existed, who would you prefer to be your neighbors? Feel free to elaborate and incorporate any supporting cast and or survivors, etc. Go wild, rock on, sir. Congrats on the subs, dude. Oh, goodness. Not going to have any... I don't want Jason or Freddy or Michael or Leatherface as my neighbors. Just don't want to deal with that. Either they're going to make a lot of noise, or I'm going to make a lot of noise and upset them, and they're going to come over, and it's just going to be a bad situation. Definitely going to have Tommy Jarvis. You know, got to have just a pal, a bud, you know, can watch the game with, have a few brews with. You know, I'll throw Demon in there as well as just a bud, just a dude. Of course, I mean, he'll bring over the enchiladas and the pizzas and, all the great food. So definitely those two dudes. And then the rest is just going to be the ladies of horror. I'm talking about Debbie Sue Voorhees. I'm talking about all the Halloween girls from back in the day. Jamie Lee, PJ Souls, Nancy Loomis. Throw Amy Steele in there as well. Jill Sholin. Oh, man. Who else would I throw in there? Linnea Quigley. There's a lot. But yeah, my dudes would be Tommy and Demon, and then just a lot of the horror, the ladies of horror, if you will. So, excellent question. Thank you for that question, dude. Next up, my buddy Orc has asked me a multi-part question. Number one, favorite sports teams for each sport. Right now, I don't have any favorite sports teams. And the only sport I watch now is NFL football. And I don't have a favorite NFL team. There's certain teams that I prefer to watch over other teams, but I just love the game. I love fantasy football, etc., etc., which Work and I have played in the same fantasy football league for the past couple of years. Back when I was a kid, though, I loved the Cubs. I love the Cubs right up to just probably within the last few years, and I had to stop because if you're a Cubs fan, you know it's just a life of depression and sadness and heartbreak and heartache. So why subject myself to that? I had to just give it up. And I don't watch baseball at all now. I loved the Bulls as a kid. I loved the Jordan era basketball. Even as a kid watching Jordan, I knew that, I was watching something special, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. He was just so good. In football, I was a huge 49ers fan for many years. Kind of fell off with them after that dynasty kind of fell apart after Steve Young left and Jerry Rice left. But yeah. Favorite bands, music, genres. I recently did a video talking about the music that impacted my life the most. The music and the bands that impacted my life the most. So definitely go check that video out if you haven't seen it. But in that video, I talk about a lot of the bands that I love. I have really eclectic musical taste. I love, Deftones, Pantera. I love My Bloody Valentine. I love, Alice in Chains, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. As far as music genres, rock. Not a big fan of rap, of hip-hop, of pop, of country. It's all rock and roll for me, but, I think, the rock, there's a wide spectrum of rock music, and I'm a fan of a lot of different kinds of rock music. So, what are you addicted to? Right now, it would be still collecting. Figures is the most current addiction that I've got. Horror figures, the NECA figures, stuff like that. I'm totally addicted to that. I can't stop buying that stuff. I love it. And yeah, if you guys like that stuff on my channel, trust me, there's a lot more to come. What do you highly dislike? Ignorant people, bullies, bigots. People who mistreat children, people who mistreat the elderly, people who mistreat people with special needs, womanizers, cheaters. That's some stuff I dislike. That's, I think, just specific groups of people that I dislike. Other stuff that I highly dislike, gosh, let me see. Bad movies. The radio. Most stuff they play on the radio these days is garbage. That's why when I put a CD in my car, it's in there for like 6 months. 6 months. A solid 6 months. Let's see, last 6 months it was Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. Currently I'm listening to Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera. So I listen to as little radio as I possibly can, but when I do, it's for the most part garbage. So thanks, dude. Appreciate all the questions. Great. He says went a little overboard, but whatever. Congrats on your soon-to-be 4K, which is now 4K. So thanks a lot, dude. I appreciate that. Super Simulated Minotaur asks, why are you such a sexy mother effer? Honest question, P.S. No homo. Maybe a little. Why am I so sexy? I mean, that's a good question. If I knew, I would bottle it and sell it and be a trillionaire. But, some people just got it. Some people don't, and I got it. So, thanks for that question, though. Lucas Blake says, hey, Piz, I would like to know what you do for a living and why you never show your lady in your videos. Thanks. I'm a social worker, and my lady just doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Bottom line. Prefers to be behind the camera. So, just doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Let's see. Next up, the Boba Fett. He asks, will you be doing a movie room tour? Yes, I plan on doing an updated movie room tour soon. The last Man Cave tour I did was probably 2-3 years ago. Probably maybe longer. But I definitely need to do. The place is kind of a mess. There's a lot of redecorating and redesigning and sort of remodeling that I want to do down here that I don't have time for. I don't have the resources for. And I mean, it's just going to be, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money probably. And, you know, I promise I will get on to doing it at some point. And when I do, and when it's all, you know, the way that I want it, I will definitely do a new tour of the man cave. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Hopefully sooner than later. I'm planning on it being sooner than later. Fingers crossed. Next up, my buddy R&R Horror Hunter. He says, congrats, Piz. Here are my questions. How is the quitting soda thing going? And do you have any tips? Oh, what tour? Quitting soda. Quitting soda is very difficult. I don't have any tips. You just gotta stop. And you know, I probably for a good year and a half, I drank only water and coffee. I'll kind of treat myself with a soda every now and again. If I go to a nice restaurant, I'll order a Coke and have them put some grenadine in it. Every now and again, you know, I'll drink like a diet soda or something if I just kind of feel like I need some sweet, sugary stuff flowing through my veins. I'll grab a soda. But for the most part, it's still water, coffee. I smoked for many years, on and off for many, many years. And the last probably year and a half of my smoking life was pretty heavy smoking, and I gave it up. Like that, cold turkey, never had a problem. Quitting soda was much more difficult. Much more difficult. Eating a big meal, eating a good meal, I would want that soda. And you smokers out there know there's nothing more satisfying than after a big meal or a good meal to just sit back and light up a cigarette. I never really had that problem. It was always during the meal I would want, you know, a pop. I'd want something sweet. I'd want that soda, that sugary soda, cola pop, whatever you call it. But I really don't have any tips, man. You just got to commit and go for it. And just, you know, fight your way through it. It's not going to be easy. But, you know, pretty soon, I mean, you'll develop a taste for water and you'll develop a desire to drink water. So, and pretty soon you'll also start to notice that, you know, soda doesn't really hit the spot, doesn't really quench your thirst, kind of like water does. In some instances, now drinking a soda will make me even more thirsty, which is weird. Let's see. His next question is, what is your favorite film composer and what's your favorite score? Hans Zimmer. I'm going to say Hans Zimmer's my favorite. My favorite score is The Thin Red Line, which I think he actually did that score. Actually. So, Hans Zimmer and The Thin Red Line. Arnold Horner also asked, what would you say is your favorite horror sequel of all time? You guys know how much I love Friday the 13th Part 5. You know how much I champion that movie. So I'll stand behind. I'll continue to stand behind Friday the 13th Part 5. That's it. Congrats, man. 4K is a great accomplishment. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Next up, my buddy NX2 Override asked, do you still play bass? I do, absolutely. I don't play it as much as I used to, but yeah, I mean, playing bass for me is stress relief. It's just kind of a fun, creative thing. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll check out some tabs for a song and learn how to play parts of it. Or sometimes I'll just plug in and just noodle around and try and create my own thing. And yeah, it's just, you know, it's just fun. Like I said, stress relief. And, you know, and a cool way to just, you know, kind of feel, you know, creative and stuff like that. I don't play as much currently as I like to. I actually just plugged in and played around a little bit just probably 20 minutes ago. So, well, actually this video has been going on for over 20 minutes. So I should say probably about 40 minutes ago, I plugged in and just kind of played around to play. So, but thanks for that question. Next up, Cropsy 2008 asks, did you ever have to send back the Nightbreed set to Scream? No. No, I still have it. Robert the Music Man asks, have you seen a movie in theaters that you may have been skeptical about, but were really surprised after watching it? And the same question, but minus blockbusters. Like one blockbuster, and if possible, two small movie with sleeper success. A movie that I saw in the theater that surprised me that I was skeptical about, probably the last one would have to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy was a Marvel property I'd never heard of before. I've not been the biggest fan of the Marvel movies, to be perfectly honest with you. I kind of just imagined it being a Avengers kind of flick, and I wasn't a huge fan of the Avengers, which is surprising because I love Joss Whedon, but walked into that movie not knowing quite what to expect and walked out thoroughly and completely and utterly and 100% entertained. One of the most fun, entertaining movie-going experiences that I've had, maybe of all time, but really in a very, very long time. Loved that film, loved everything about it. Probably my favorite film of last year was just, or at least the most entertaining film of last year, the most fun I've had at the theater in a very long time. And that's one that I have to thank my girlfriend for kind of convincing me to go to, because I was really kind of like, man, I don't, and honestly, to be honest, if she hadn't got me to go watch it in the theater, I probably still wouldn't have seen it to this day. So I have her to credit for that, and I love that movie. As far as small movies in theaters, my local theaters do not get anything unless it's going to be a potential blockbuster. And if it's not a blockbuster, it gets one weekend and then it is gone. So, no sleepers, no small movies in my theater, unfortunately. And no sort of, art house theaters around here. But yeah, great question. Thanks, buddy. Next up, Jeremy McAdoo asked, my favorite series is Friday the 13th, and I know you're also a fan. Where do you think the franchise is going next, or do you ever see anything happening for Jason again? Recently, the new Friday the 13th movie, which was supposed to come out this year in 2015, it was announced it was going to be pushed back to 2016. I have a sneaking suspicion that in 2016, we're going to hear that it's been pushed back to 2017. I know they hired a director. I forget the guy's name, but he's been involved in a lot of found footage type movies. I know found footage was a gimmick that was thrown out there for the movie. 3D was thrown out there for the gimmick, possibly a found footage 3D hybrid. But the last I heard, both those gimmicks had been cast aside, and they were kind of back at square one, so I have no idea what's going on. Honestly, I'm... If I had my choice, if the choice was we're going to make more Friday the 13th movies that are either mediocre to bad, or we just won't make any more ever again, I would choose to just not make any more ever again, to be honest. As much as I love Friday the 13th, as much as I love the series, as I love the character of Jason Voorhees, etc., etc., I think, honestly, it's probably in the best interest for it to just fade away. They're not going to make Friday the 13th movies like they used to. They're just not. The days of the Paramount Friday the 13th films, they died with the 80s. That's not coming back. That's just not coming back. So whatever the Friday the 13th movie is, if we eventually do get it, it's just not going to be that movie. It's probably going to be more akin to like Texas Chainsaw 3D than to what we think of when we think of Friday the 13th. Next up, my buddy the Cookie Monster 70 asks, what are your top 10 favorite bands? Oh goodness. Again, I go back and watch the music that impacted my live video. I talk about a lot of my favorite bands there. No way I could do a top 10. That'd be a standalone video of its own. That would probably go just as long as this one, which it's almost at 30 minutes. I'll just throw some out there. Of course, Deftones, My Bloody Valentine, Pantera. I'll even throw The Cure in there. I love The Cure. There's so many. I have such eclectic taste in music. I love rock, but there's so many different kinds of rock bands I love. I love heavier stuff. I'll reach for Pantera or some of the earlier Metallica stuff. I like moody, soundscapey kind of stuff. I'll reach for Deftones. if I want just a blanket of glorious noise to envelop me, I'll reach for My Bloody Valentine. But I mean, there's just so many there's so many bands I love, and yeah, really eclectic stuff. Next up, Matt Hart asks, how long have you and your girlfriend been together? What is your favorite Freddy Krueger film? And what do you think of Robert Englund? My girlfriend and I have been together for going on 4 years now. What's your favorite Freddy Krueger film? Dream Warriors. That's my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. Although I do love Part 2 too, but I've got a thing for Black Sheep movies. So, what do you think of Robert Englund? I've never met him. I don't know him personally. He's a great actor. He was great as Freddy Krueger. But yeah, don't know him personally. And I've never met him. Would like to meet him someday. But not going to pay $200 to meet him. So, not happening. Let's see. My buddy, Mr. Myers, 777 asks, who are your top 10 favorite pro wrestlers of all time? Oh, goodness. Again, that would be a standalone video that would just go on forever as well. At the top of the list would be Ultimate Warrior. For me as a kid, Ultimate Warrior was it. Everything about him. I loved the look, the hair, the makeup, the music, the entrance. I just loved everything about the Ultimate Warrior. I loved Macho Man. I mean, the intensity, the promos that dude cut. My God. I loved Ravishing Rick Rude. Great heel. Loved Ravishing Rick Rude. Some more current guys. I mean, I loved Edge. I thought Edge was, Edge should teach classes to upcoming wrestlers on how to be a heel, I think. Great heel. Great heel. Some more current guys I really like. I love Cesaro. And I mean, it pains me to see what they've done to him over the past year. How they just buried that guy, and him so friggin' talented. I love Dean Ambrose. Let's see, who else do I think is really talented? There's a lot of really talented guys in the WWE. Unfortunately, they kind of, they go all in with one guy, and everybody else is just kind of second fiddle. And unfortunately, they're going all in with Roman Reigns, and that's going to be who they're going all in with probably for the future. And let's see. I've gone on for 32 minutes. This will be my last question for this part of the Q&A. And it's from Montgomery Jackson. He asks, I'm at a crossroads in my life. I just turned 33 and haven't yet achieved my dream of being in the movie business as an actor, writer, director. I made an attempt as a film student back in '05, but caved to my family's wishes of pursuing a social work degree. Needless to say, I lost interest and dropped out of school. I guess what I'm asking is, what do you do? What did you do when you hit rock bottom without a clue of what will happen next in your life? I don't know if I ever necessarily hit rock bottom. I mean, I definitely, we all come to crossroads from time to time. In your instance, what I would say, my advice to you is, if you want to be a filmmaker, look at a guy like Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith wanted to be a filmmaker, and he knew the only way he was going to make it happen is if he made it happen for himself. He put his money where his mouth is, and he made a movie. So, I mean, my advice to you is put your money where your mouth is. If you want to be a filmmaker, make a film. You can make a film anywhere. You can write a film anywhere. If you want to be an actor, I mean, I think you pretty much got to be in New York or Los Angeles. But, you can write a movie. You can direct a movie anywhere. You can use, commercial equipment. You can, a digital camera, edit the thing on Windows Live Movie Maker. Shoot it in your backyard, have your friends be your cast, make a movie. You want to be a filmmaker, make a movie. I've got a lot of respect for guys who, even the guys who make, the super low budget, like I said, the backyard kind of movies. The final product is, most of the time it's not going to be that great, but I have a lot of respect for guys who, like I said, they put their money where their mouth is, and they know the only way that they're going to, nobody's going to give them, nobody's going to give them money to make a movie, especially when you're starting out. So make your own movie. Make a movie. That's my advice to you. Make a movie. Put your money where your mouth is. Make a movie. So yeah, that is going to wrap up part 1 of my 4K Q&A. I've gone on for almost 35 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for all the awesome questions. You guys are great. And stay tuned for part 2 of my 4K Q&A coming at you guys real soon. Appreciate all the love and support. You guys are great. And take it easy. Until next time. Peace.